This is Jay Coop with the good goodies, coming to you from the shadows. Don't ever let keeping your character get in the way of you expressing yourself. Alright? Because what you're going to express is your character. That's who you actually are. You know, don't think, well, I'm supposed to be coming across a certain way. Yeah, you need to keep your stuff together, but if it's ever a conflict, if they're ever at a head where you have to choose one or the other, yeah, just go with that expression. Don't worry about the means meeting the ends. You know, just let it roll. Be in the present. Which brings me to one of the greatest exercises. I go on and on about it, but this thought I had about yoga is that it's the activity that's so good because what it does is it bridges. It brings together two elements. The word yoga means union. And what you're joining together here, as well as many other things. But what I have in mind is that it's an activity that gives you adversity. Physical adversity and presence. So you're working on both things. You're working on being present in the moment. And you have to focus, you kind of have to get through the other part, which is the adversity that it gives you. You know, by doing these poses, you're purposely putting yourself in this position that is difficult. You know, and you're striving against your own limitations to be able to, do the best you can and get better. But when you put the adversity mixed with the presence, you get this unique experience that is really unlike no other. I mean, most things that, shows your weakness, these adversities, that's what they do. That's the point of the adversity. It shows your weakness. So these things that normally what you do where you have your weakness exposed or whatever, a flaw comes to the surface, it's like you might not be present for that. You know, it might be just an unconscious thing that a mistake that is there because you just keep making it because you're not even aware that you're doing it, you know? So it may get unnoticed. And then think of all the times that you're present in the present moment in your life. It's usually when you're doing something you really like. You know, it's usually when you are watching a great movie or having sex. Then it's like you're real present for it. And it's like you're at your best, you know? There's no flaws are coming to the surface that you have to deal with. But in yoga, it surfaces those. The adversity surfaces your weaknesses. Combined with your presence, you can sit there and say, oh, I've been doing that. Okay, I have to fix that. Because you're struggling. And what it'll do is you're rewarded with ease when you do it right. So it relieves the struggle when you find the correct move. So it really solidifies your correct decision too. Such a good workout. Yoga is the ultimate game with yourself. You know, it's like golf. Yoga is like golf where you actually sweat and increase your respiratory rate and get a workout. Although increasing your respiratory rate is really a whole nother level where you say, well, don't increase the respiratory rate. If you can have all these things going on, all this madness, and you can keep cool and keep your breath, although you may have to deepen it because your muscles need more oxygen when they're being worked. You might have to deepen that breath, but what you don't have to do is increase the rate. And, that's when we start to get out of breath because we're breathing too fast. And I've done it for years because it's like I need more oxygen because my muscles are working. I can't miss this next chance to inhale. Oh shit, I better exhale and inhale again. And if you start to do that, you breathe too fast and you lose it. And you really, your heart starts beating too fast when you breathe too fast because they're connected. They send signals to each other like that. And if you can keep the breath under control and steady, even though it's deep, You know, I think that's really the essence of the Ujjayi breath. Because what you're doing is you're purposely manipulating the way your breath sounds. You make your breath audible. So you have to actually hold a certain muscle in place in the back of your throat to kind of like give that Darth Vader sound to your breath. But it doesn't matter that that's what you're doing. There may be a physiological implication I'm not aware of. But what I think the benefit is of it, that I can see clearly anyway, is that you're being present for it. You are controlling it. Whatever it is that you're doing with it is almost inconsequential, though, you know, it may have some sort of benefit that I'm not aware of on top of that. But just the fact that you are controlling it to do something a certain way means you're in control of your breath. So you're not going to lose it. You know, as long as you stay aware of it like that, like you're aware that whole time, and then it won't get too fast on you. And it can go deeper because it's under control, getting you more oxygen so it doesn't have to go fast, and you don't lose your breath. I've experienced an incredible increase in stamina and my wind since doing yoga, and it's not something that you really get out of breath for, although it's very strenuous. But that's the idea. It's an exercise in your breath, in the control of your breath. And it's under the adversity. It's an exercise in the adversity. And then the ability to have the presence to control the breath under the adversity. This is the lesson. And it's wonderful. I love that I get to learn about it. And there's so many new things to learn about, and every time you learn something new, you say, oh, look at all that I still don't know. Let's get to learning. Get at it. Have a good night. This is Jay Coop with the goodies.